Dispensary. How you guys doing? Now, you guys are gonna start seeing it released, but I had an inside guy who let me know like 5 minutes ago that Verk was released. I looked online. The only place I see it so far is Well, thank you. The only place I see it so far was Breaking 911, and Telegram had it. So a verdict has been reached. So let's see. Let's see if they're reporting it yet. So what do you guys think? I'm curious. Do you guys think guilty, not guilty? Not what do you think he is, but what do you think they're gonna say? What do you think they're gonna what conclusion do you think the jury reached? Guilty or not guilty? If people could just let me know. I know that there's probably not that many people in here. By the way, I haven't been on for a long time because I got banned. Banned for a month. I had 30 days I couldn't go live. No, actually, I think it was like 2 weeks. I forget if it was 2 weeks or 30 days, but all right, so what do you guys think they're going to say? Guilty or not guilty? So yeah, I'm going to have to like make another channel. That I got a strike, and I forget, I had to look at the email. If it was 14 days or 30 days. I didn't know that I was able to go live the last few days. Guilty? I think so too. Isaac said it. And I mean, everyone's thinking it, but Isaac just said exactly what I'm thinking. I just think they're gonna be guilty. They're gonna find him guilty no matter what. I think it was gonna be like split, maybe like a 6-6, kind of like, like half of them think guilty, half not guilty. I mean, they deliberated for 4 hours yesterday, and since like 9 in the morning today, maybe 9:30, and it's 3:30, so Eastern time, so 2:30 their time. So actually, it'd be 2:30. So it's a good, it's not too long, but I was starting to think if they didn't reach a verdict today, I was thinking there might be a chance he's not guilty. But what I was thinking, because it took a little bit, I mean, there's not much. They have the video of what happened in like 1,000 different ways. It's pretty hard not to. Yeah, it is a shame, Brandy. I think he should be guilty of manslaughter because I differ on. This is the one police killing that rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like it. Horrible. But I don't know if it's not murder. It's not there's different degrees, of course. Second degree in many a felony. Basically, like, let's say you go rob a liquor store and you shoot somebody. You're not going in there with the intent. You didn't want to kill anyone. No, but like you shoot someone and it's by accident. The gun goes off by accident or something like that. That's second degree in Minnesota. And you know what, though? I feel like they're going to riot either way, right? We all kind of expect that. But, it's going to be way worse if they... it's going to be worse. All right, so let's watch this. Hold on, I got to click this here. Oh, I can't. All right.
That's the charge that the state court of appeals took a look at. That's charge that Judge Cahill actually dropped from this case months ago. The definition of that charge is that the state needs to prove Chauvin caused George Floyd's death by committing an act dangerous to others. And actually today I did an interview with former Minnesota Supreme Court Justice Paul Anderson, who talked about that word others. That doesn't mean multiple people. Others can be just one person.
After the verdict,
but then there's this other part of this charge in this definition.
After the verdict, try to stick around because, like I said, they shut me down. I got a strike and they shut me down, and that means the next strike's coming. They're gonna ban me for good. So I'm just looking for people to maybe go to a tell you guys about a different channel that I've had forever. I just never really promoted it. Okay.
Decades on the state Supreme Court, he even struggled with that definition. And what he ended up telling me today, what he defined it as, is it's something that is so reckless and careless that the perpetrator shows a complete lack of regard for human life. So that's what that defined definition of that second-degree murder charge
The
is.
verdict will be read till 4:35. All right, that's fine. That's fine. You know, we can discuss things. I want to hear this woman. She's good.
And then these charges, of course, we're awaiting to hear these charges, and of course, we're awaiting to hear what their verdict is on each of these charges.
And you have to assume that maybe in their 4 hours of deliberation last night, they eliminated some.
These charges, and of course, we're
What's going
awaiting
on?
to hear what their verdict is
Why is it doing
on
that?
each of these charges. These charges, and of course, we're awaiting to hear what their verdict is on each of these charges, and of
All
course,
right,
we're
what is
awaiting
going
to hear
on
what.
here?
How complicated it is for really any jury in any case. How complicated it
All
is
right,
for
we're live.
really any
It's
jury
live.
in any case to go through those instructions. That can really trip a group up and to get how complicated it is for really any jury in any case.
All right, we're gonna go to a different source. This one's screwy. I mean, so what I think they're gonna say guilty. I think that half of them are gonna be bullied into finding him guilty. That's just I think we all know that. So let's see. Sorry, I'm just trying to. I don't want to use like Fox, maybe PBS. That's like a public access. All right, cool. All right, so we have this. Yeah, so I got a strike, and they I didn't even know. You know what I mean? I don't really check the email that is connected to this channel. So I didn't even know, but I tried to go live. I came across some crazy information. I tried to go live. At the time, it was breaking. I was also trying to talk about Russia, Ukraine for the past 2 weeks, and I couldn't. You know, we can talk about that later. But if it's really going to be like an hour, if you guys aren't aware, I'm sure you're aware. But at first they were saying 150,000 troops are now on the border, Russian troops. The number is actually more like 100,000. The Secretary of State had to correct himself. It's more like 100,000. And you know, it looks like what you want to look at is the Donbass region. The population there. They're actually pro-Russian there. So it's going to be very interesting how this goes down. And if you guys didn't see, let me show you a few things here. So we've been at DEFCON 3, by the way, right? We've been at DEFCON 3. Also, and by the way, this right here is live. So if it starts, I'll see it in the corner there. We've been at DEFCON 3, and this is breaking 911. Yeah, see, now everyone's starting to report it that it came in. But also, did he talk about it? This is from last night. In the middle of the night, this was dropped. I was actually awake. So if you guys didn't see this is from US Stratcom. So, of course, that's Strategic Command. Posture Statement Preview. The spectrum of conflict today is neither linear nor predictable. We must account for the possibility of conflict leading to conditions which could very rapidly drive an adversary to consider nuclear use as their least bad option. Which, that last sentence, I don't like the way they word it. For one, this is Strategic Command. I mean, their least bad option. It's just it's misleading almost, you know. It's like a double negative. Least bad option. I don't know, but I don't know what's going on with that, because I think the reason for this is we gave like a bunch of these like the mini nukes to Ukraine. Ukraine has obtained some nukes because of this from us, from what I understand. So that might be the reason for it. That actually, I'm pretty sure that would be the reason for it. Also, this is heating up. This they were trying. I've heard some people say, no, it's not that bad. It's bad. Like the worst it's been since 2014 when Russia first invaded Ukraine. But I think it's worse. I mean, I think that they know that too. But the news hasn't been reporting on this on purpose. I mean, this has been going on for a long time, but it's really heated up the last month, 3 weeks, 2 weeks. As the time's gone, just more and more and more. The signs of war are in the air. When you start taking your diplomats and bringing them home, you start expelling the other country's diplomats from being here. Once you start doing things like that, they start moving. There's a lot of, of course, then you got to watch the Navy. So Russia's Navy has been blocking off the Black Sea, not just from us, but any warships that they consider an enemy, which is basically everyone, but except for. So, it's getting interesting because, our Navy, we sent a carrier strike group over there. And it was really heating up at that point. This is a few days ago. And then Biden had them turn around. He had them turn around. Russia, and then as soon as we did that, or maybe it was before that, but the way that they're reporting it, once they did that, Russia said, oh, okay. And then they blocked the Black Sea. I think that they already had information that Russia was or was planning to block the Black Sea, and they didn't want to escalate it. They knew it would be that's going to be a hot moment. As the carrier strike group got closer, if they're blocking it, and we are the most powerful navy in the world. China's navy is bigger. Ours is more powerful because of our submarines and carriers. And of course, I was U.S. Navy cryptologist, but, I'm not being biased. That's a fact. I've heard people like Moff say that China's Navy is stronger. That's not true. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The capabilities of our submarines, some of our aircraft that come off the carriers themselves, there's no match. There's no match. Our submarines will sneak in and do all these silent kills. They're deadly, and they have nothing to stop that. Their submarines will have to stay on their shore. Our submarines could go anywhere and wreak havoc, including our various aircraft that come off of aircraft carriers. So, I'm just talking about this because the news isn't talking about it, and they haven't been talking. They just started talking about it yesterday because we're at DEFCON 3. Why are we at DEFCON 3? They're not reporting that either. Why is Strategic Command putting out this in the middle of the night last night? So they have to start reporting it, and they're touching on it a little bit, although they're kind of doing it in a roundabout way. You see a lot of yeah, I'm done with that. Yeah. You see a lot of anti-Russian sentiment, and that's because that's their way of, if you guys didn't see O'Keefe with CNN, that's their way. Propaganda. I mean, their technical executive producer himself, the technical producer, who controls what they put on the screen, admitted himself, well, we're propaganda. And the reason they're propaganda is because the Smith-Mundt Act in 2013, I believe. Yeah, 2013, I think. If you guys don't know about the Smith-Mundt Act, that's one of the most important things that you need to know about, because Obama passed that. And what it did was, before that, you couldn't have propaganda. You couldn't lie to the people. Now, it's legal to mislead the public. It's legal to have propaganda. And that's exactly what's happened. And it's only getting worse and worse and worse. I'm happy O'Keefe dropped that. And also, he had sued the New York Times, and he won, and that was like a groundbreaking case. I mean, it sets a precedent. Also, he is suing right now CNN and Twitter. So, and I think he's gonna win. I mean, they were trying to say that he was faking multiple accounts. I don't think he was doing that. I mean, we all know that they lie. We've known this. We've been talking about this for years. We know that they lie. We know they're propaganda. We know that they've been shadow banning. Now they're just straight up banning. They're banning me. I just got banned. I mean, what am I doing? I only talk about facts. The only thing that I, hint at that's like kind of out there is the 17th letter, right? I don't know what to think about that because there's been so many things that have come true. And also, I get pissed off because if it's not real, then Trump needs to stop hinting at it. They say you're running in 2024. Oh, for legal reasons, I can't. He still leaves that door open. And then, oh, yeah, the Pfizer 17 times. And he goes out of his way to say 17 in like every interview. It's just, he's 1,000% aware that there's millions of people listening to exactly what he's saying as far as is he going to run in 2024, because he's never actually said it, because once he says it, that kind of throws everything else out the window, right? There's still this Maricopa County. If you guys don't know, Maricopa County, there's all kinds of stuff going down over there. They're definitely not reporting that. In Arizona, that's the biggest county in Arizona, and it's also happens to be a red county, and they are sure that there was FRAUD going on there. So that's going to be interesting because in the next month they're going to do an audit. I'm going to get banned anyway, so they're going to do that. And the deep state has already sent in their agents. They sent in the lawyer of Hillary Clinton. All right, her fixer has been sent over, and already he's on the news talking about all this stuff, trying to poke holes, and this is expected. But they're bringing in the big guns. They're bringing in their best. They're worried about this. All right, so let me see what you guys got to say. I don't know why I don't know what's going on as far as why is it doing that? I'm still live, right? Yeah, I'm live. Let me see. Sorry, I just gotta do this. I want to see what you guys are saying. It's not showing me though. Here we go. Oh, okay. Thank you, Danielle. It's good to see you. So you listen? Yeah, you must be at work. So yeah, I think as far as this trial, they're trying to show all military. Oh yeah, they're trying to paint the military as white supremacist. Like I'm the furthest thing from a white supremacist. My daughter's part black. Amanda is half black, and my daughter's a quarter black. I'm not. That's not what I'm about. I told you guys as far as this, I don't think he should be found not guilty across the board. I think he should be found guilty of manslaughter. He'll do 4 years because he has no record. I think that's justice. Because I don't look at it as any degree of murder. They're kind of shading the lines. Oh, you're committing a felony while, accidentally shooting some. I say shooting because that's usually the case that this second degree is used. I mean, I guess it could be a bunch of different ways. You run in, you hit somebody trying to rob them, and they end up dying. They have health conditions and they fall and hit their head the wrong way and die. But you were in the middle of doing an armed robbery or something like that. It doesn't even have to be armed. It could just be a robbery and you just hit him, even just with your hand, and he falls and that could be second degree murder. And with that, for someone that has no record, like this cop, it'll be 12 and a half years. And then there's a second charge, the third degree, that would be also 12 and a half years. So if he's convicted on, and then the third one is 4 years. So if he's convicted on all three, he's looking at 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 4. So that's 29 years. He got 29 years. He'll probably do 20, with good time. That's kind of how it goes. He'll probably get pulled in 20. What is he, like 40 something? Be an old man. Well, not that old. Yeah, I got banned, Laurie. I got my first strike. I mean, they've shut me down before. They demonetized me. They make it so I don't come up to people who aren't subscribed, unless they're searching for me or They make it more difficult, but they finally gave me like a strike, and I just don't. I forget from the email if it was 14 days or 30 days. It was like a month ago. I didn't even know it. It had been like a week and a half into it when I actually saw the email, and I only knew because I would try to go live, and it said you cannot go live. You do not have this capability. I could bring up the email. Well, then I'll have some personal stuff in there. But yeah, so I got my first strike. But once you get the first strike, you get the second and third right away. And just some of the things that I've already said in this video, I don't know how that's going to go. So I want to see the whole chat. How could I do that without messing this up? All right, I'm going to leave this for 1 second just to look at the chat. But someone please let me know if it comes on. It comes on. All right. All right. Brandy, hey. And then we got, what did I miss? Oh, Lord, I don't even know. They would say he's good. I agree. Isaac, I agree. You can start a group on Telegram with chat. Oh, see, I use Telegram all day, every day, Sure Bear. I just, I didn't know that. I didn't, some of those things like that, I don't really use it for my channel. I just, Telegram is amazing. Like, once you know what channels to join, you are updated. There's basically, it seems like nothing is banned. Anything goes. It's great. You get an alert for everything. I got a private message from someone saying they reached a verdict, and then I started writing, creating the video, and then I got a message, breaking 911, verdict reached. Oh, Sherry says not guilty because, and you know what? This crossed my mind as well. It's obvious at this point that despite the optics, because they have full control right now, and while they have full control, they're going to rig the system so that they can never lose the power. We know what they do during the elections. Now they're going to make D.C. a state. So that's 2 more Democrat senators and a bunch more representatives. It's bullshit that I say we. I was used to be a Democrat. I'm actually, like, a lot of things, I am an old school liberal at heart as far as, people. But now it seems like under Trump, the Republican Party is the party of the people now. And the oppressors and they're both shady. Both sides are shady. But I think Trump is doing his best to kind of weed out some of these rhinos. But yeah, so what I was saying is that I think that I agree that it did cross my mind. If it was fixed, would they really want justice? And it seems like they want these riots. You see Maxine Waters out there stirring the pot. You see the news stirring the pot, leading only one way on every single cable station, banning people, banning content. They banned James O'Keefe for doing maybe the best journalism story I've seen in years. It's the best journalism I've seen in years. Outside of the journalist who was all over Epstein. That was amazing. She did an amazing job. That covered years and years and years. It's really amazing what is happening right now. I have never seen everything come to a boiling point like this. And it sucks, but at the same time, I've been right about a lot of things. We've had our fingers on the pulse, I believe. There's only one thing that I've been maybe wrong about or, not proven correct yet. And, that is still up in the air too. All these little things are still pointing to some kind of plan behind the scenes. And they keep pointing to certain letters and numbers and like every interview. Trump's interview before yesterday when he's talking about he can't talk about 2024 for legal reasons, which would be exactly what I say is going to happen because I think you guys know what I think as far as the EO coming into play and using the DOD law of war. And then he goes on talking about 17. Out of every number, 17. What? Why do they have to keep doing this? Just stop. Like, he knows exactly what's up. If it's not real, don't do that shit, man. That's not cool. But I don't think he would do it because he knows. So it's really kind of, I'm torn. All these things keep pointing to it, and I'm so well read in it, and I know every single post. I know enough that if someone says something that references it, boom, I know. Like the interview before that, he goes plus plus plus. You know, he says plus plus plus. Really? I mean, that's like one of the most well-known things said in 17 is the plus plus plus. You know, and he said it in such a weird way where it wasn't needed. He's like, oh yeah, we had 75 million votes. You know, plus 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 plus. That's exactly what 17 would always say. Plus plus plus. I mean, so 2 interviews in a row, and then there's been a bunch of other things too on the other interviews. There's been so many things that point to this. So, you know, I said right now I'll say, okay, so I guess I was wrong that there's some plan. But deep down, I still hold some belief that, hey, that all these things are still pointing to it. And also, doesn't it kind of seem like everything's coming to a boiling point? It's coming to a head. There is so many things going on, and like I was referring to right now with what someone said there about how they want this stuff. They want the border to be the way it is. You know, they don't want really the bad look, but they want the human trafficking. They want people to start crossing and illegal immigrants and all the trouble that comes with that. They want that because the American people are fed up. They need new voters. They don't just want them in. They need to make them able to vote. I mean, you know, you need an ID for everything except voting. It's really like nothing makes sense anymore. I can't be the only one that thinks this. Nothing makes sense to me anymore. So yeah, and they're rigging everything in the meantime. So the Supreme Court goes to Trump fills up the Supreme Court with conservative judges. Now they're going to pack the court. They're going to make it from 9 to 13. You know, how bad things are going. They are not going to win another election. I don't think that they won the last election. And we'll see what happens in Maricopa County in the next month. But that's going to be key. I mean, that's like low-key huge. Making D.C. a state. I already said this, but, you know, making D.C. a state and you get 2 more senators and a bunch of more representatives. I mean, everyone knows what that's about. Ugh. The Tulsa meeting? No, I didn't. All right, so let me get to this live here. Oh man, wrong place. This is going to be interesting. I mean, what's going to happen here, you know? I mean, are they actually going to find this guy guilty of all this? I think that what he did was horrible. I don't think what he did is justified at all. I just don't think it's murder either, though. You know, it's not any degree of murder in my eyes.
Feel like you're being watched. Hackers can see. Norton 360 include.
Oh, Tulsa, is that where the Oh, I thought you were talking about something different. Is Tulsa the Health and Freedom Conference? Yeah. I didn't know it was in Tulsa. Actually, I did know. I knew it was in Oklahoma. Yeah, that's right. Because if you guys know Patriot Street Fighter, me and him got into it a little bit. I think he's a phony. I truly think he's a phony. I was talking to Jordan Sather the other day. It's amazing. I've been talking to all these big channels. So, what's his name? Patriot Street Fighter talked shit about me in one of his things. I don't know if he's ever watched the channel, but I was in his chat, kind of like, dude, why are you trying to lead people to think that you're military? And like, why are you so money hungry? Like, it's so obvious to me what he's doing. This guy used to be a political operative for the Republican Party under Bush. All right, maybe the most corrupt administration of all time, and that's saying something. Being followed by Obama and now Biden. Now, you know what? I think Biden might be the most corrupt. They're all corrupt. It's hard to say that, and then you think Obama. It's like, whoa. I mean, they're all corrupt, right? But Bush was bad. Bush was real bad. I mean, think back to that 2004 election. Bush versus Kerry. They're both. they were both in Skull and Bones at Yale. I mean, you know, what a choice. Yeah, here's two, you know, people in the same secret society. You know, like it mattered which one we picked. Unbelievable, truly unbelievable. But yeah, so yeah, I watched it. Yeah, Scott. I'm
Who's that?
I'm doing a
Who's
video.
that calling?
I ended it. Yeah, but I think that he's no good. I think he's funny money, big time funny money, and I let him know that. I think he did a great job, kind of letting people know a few things. And I talked to Jordan Sather, and we caught this guy Ghost Ezra putting he like copy and pasted from one board and then try to make it his own words and posted it somewhere else. You know, they're just. I think that there's all these new people joining this movement that have like an elementary knowledge of the movement and the actual posts. You know, there's so many things that happen that they miss. They miss everything. I mean, I wish I had a following like that, and I would actually talk about this. There's things that it's so much I can't talk about, but I come across like 10 things a day that point me in a certain direction. I mean, it's crazy, but I also come across a bunch of bullshit. You know, like everyone was talking about Ivanka Trump and her when she got the vaccine. And that's the one thing that blows my mind. Trump is pushing the vaccine. What's up with that? I don't know what to think about that. I mean, I guess it's like he can chalk it up as a huge accomplishment to get that vaccine out so fast. But with what we've learned on this channel about 060606 from Bill Gates, the patent number, and what they have planned, what's coming next, that patent number 060606. If you haven't seen that, watch my video. Patent, right? Patent. If you guys know what a patent is, of course. 060606. Yep, it's real. I was the first person to report on it. I literally got it the day it came out. I came across, I just happened to be looking at patents. And I came right across it and did a video on it. Yeah, why would he push the vax? And so when his daughter was pushing the vax, showing her picture of her getting it, I was looking at it, and what I found funny about it, what I found like odd about it, was her legs. If you look at her legs, like one leg is twice the size of the other one. Now, a lot of times there's photos and there's certain optical illusions. It looks one way, but it's really another way. But this didn't make sense. So that's what I'm looking at. And all of a sudden, all these clowns that just popped up out of nowhere, you know, just before January 6th, they all popped up. All these clowns, like Patriot Street Fighter Scott McKay, you know, these clowns. Nino, the boxer that knows, these guys know nothing about anything. He used to be a political operative for the Bush campaign. So he knows how to talk. He knows how to get people going. He has the gift of gab. He does it well. You know, he has his little catchphrases. He sells his T-shirts and his health supplements, and I mean, he's like an Alex Jones for 17. You know, he's a clown, literally. And he had the nerve to mention me on his show because I was just letting him know what's up. If you watch him for weeks, you will get the impression that he's military. He's a veteran. That's what he tries to put out. Every picture, he has some type of camo or the undershirt that's the same exact thing as what the Marines would wear, you know, holding his weapons, and that's all good and fine. But then he uses all this like military vocabulary. Everything's a battlefield, and we're going to have to flank them. And he talks like he was in the military, and he wasn't. And that's why I first went after him. Then I started learning about the guy and what his past is and who he is. And then, you see him at this Tulsa conference. That's why I brought him up, because someone brought the Tulsa conference. You see him there, right? I mean, you guys seen him, right? It's phony. He's a phony. There's a lot of people who just popped up lately who are phonies. And I don't want to make this about bashing anyone. I'm just warning you guys about a few people that have came out lately. Just be careful who you follow, right? Be careful who you follow. Okay. Let me see what you guys would say. I know that some people probably didn't like that. I know a lot of people like him, but so anyone just joining, we're here. Look, it sounds like there's some commotion in the courtroom. So I think we're getting close here. So chat, what do you think? Guilty, not guilty? What do you think? I think it's about to start. Anyone just joining us? The verdict has come in. It came in about 45 minutes ago or so. And I'm hearing commotion now. So someone had came in and said the verdict would be around 4:30. But it sounds like people are starting to come in. You can hear them in the background. You guys can write guilty, not guilty. What do you think is going to happen? So far, it looks like everyone's saying guilty except for one person. Now, on other channels, I've seen most people saying not guilty. I think he should be found. What I think should happen is he should be found not guilty of the 2 murder charges and guilty of manslaughter. I mean, some people might not like that from both sides, but that's where I stand, man. That wasn't cool. That was totally wrong what he did. 100% wrong. But it just doesn't fall under murder. I know that there's different degrees, and it doesn't have to be intentional and all that. But no. He did have to subdue him. He did have to do it, but he just didn't have to leave his friggin' knee on his neck for 9 minutes. Even after he passed out, he still had his knee on his neck for another 4 or 5 minutes. It's gross. I think it's disgusting. And it's not like he wasn't aware. Everyone's yelling about it. But at the same time, I can see certain circumstances where, it shouldn't be murder. It just shouldn't be any degree of murder to me. The manslaughter makes sense to me. In fact, if a lot of people don't know this, he actually already pleaded guilty to. I'm sorry, he didn't actually plead, but he was willing to take a plea for 10 years, which he wouldn't even do the 10 years. I don't know why it would be 10 years because. Oh, maybe because it was a plea instead. Here, what? You want to put it on? Yeah, but that's mean. You don't want to do that. All right. So, he was going to take a plea. He was willing to take a plea for manslaughter and 10 years. But they didn't want that. They wanted murder. As Maxine Waters says, she wants first-degree murder. He's not even being charged of first-degree murder, but that's what she wants, which makes no sense. That means it's premeditated. I mean, although, you know what's weird? This is so underreported, and maybe the court had it so that this couldn't come out. They buried it because they didn't want it to be known to the jury, or, they buried this story. Olivia, you can't do that to her. She doesn't need the leash on in the house. She's in the house. She doesn't need the leash on. All right? She doesn't need the leash on in the house. All right, fine. Go ahead, whatever. As long as she's okay with it. Sorry about that. It's just I'm a single father right now as far as being home with my daughter, just me. So it's tough, but I've been banned for a while. And I'm finally able to go live this past week, so I figured I'd go live for this. So yeah, he was Chauvin was going to take a plea for 10 years. He was willing to take that plea for manslaughter, the third charge, the one that I think he should be found guilty of. It's tough. I mean, if he put it this way, I would rather he be found not guilty of everything than guilty of the other 2, the second and third degree murders. I don't see that. That should not be the case. I'd rather him just be not guilty of everything. But I think true justice would be him guilty of manslaughter, which he was already willing to take a plea on. Now, sometimes people are willing to take a plea, even though they didn't do it, because, in this situation, you can't say he didn't do it, but even though they don't believe that they should be found guilty of it, but, otherwise it could go to trial, and like it did. It could be a lot worse. I mean, he's looking at about 30 years, 12 and a half for the 2 murder degrees. You know what? I keep saying 2 murder degrees. I should be saying second degree murder. And then the other one, single father. Yeah, I'm the only one living. It's just me and my daughter living here for the past month and a half. Amanda is not here. I don't want to talk about her business, so I'm just going to leave that alone. Okay. So no, I was right. So it's second degree unintentional murder, which is, I guess that's something specific to Minnesota, the way they do that. It's unintentional murder with a felony. So you have to commit a felony, but it's unintentional. Like I said, you go in, you're robbing a place. You don't even need a gun, but let's say you hit someone with something and they fall wrong and die. It's unintentional second degree murder, I would say, on that one. All right, just in case, let me get this in the corner. Okay. And by the way, if one of the mods could also, let me see, could help me out with this. Let me see my PayPal. In case anyone wants to, so Tony and, I don't want to put, well, that's his screen. Tony and Kelly Kebo. Thank you so much. I thank you guys before, but I just want to thank you guys again. How do I do this? I always forget what I'm doing here. Damn. Man, I don't have it. Mm-hmm. So you guys see that? The $ Red Pill 40. If anyone wants to donate, that's the best way. $ Red Pill 40 for Cash App. If you can't, that's fine too. I'm just letting you guys know. They're gonna ban me. So after, by the way, you guys stick around. After we get the verdict. Ooh. We don't want to miss this. Yeah, after we get this verdict, I just want to give you guys, what did White News Network say? The verdict's not in yet, Linda. Thank you for stopping by, Linda. So yeah, the best way to donate, if you want to donate, is $ cash. I mean $ red pill 40. So if you want. All right. So you know what? I want to see the chat. I can't see the chat. Okay, so we'll get this in the corner. Let's go back to what we were looking at. So yeah, he's being charged with second-degree unintentional murder, and they don't include here that it's actually what it is. The unintentional. It has to be a felony as well. Yeah. So second-degree unintentional murder with a felony. So we explained what that was. That carries 12 because he has no record. It could be up to 30 years, I believe, or 25 years. But because he has no record, it would be 12 and a half years. So I think it's actually 25 years. And it's going to be 12 and a half years if he's found guilty of that, as well as third-degree murder, which carries 12 and a half years as well. And then second-degree manslaughter, which I think he's guilty of. I think he should be convicted of third-degree manslaughter. What are these messages retracted for? What were they saying? Because unless it's that bad, I don't really care. Yeah, Laurie, 98% oxygen saturation. And you know what else? The oxygen, they're trying to say that carbon monoxide had no play because it's 98% oxygen saturation. But actually, what happens with carbon monoxide, and I learned this because I watched the trial, I listened to these experts, and he was pretty clear about it. I'm surprised it flew the way it did in closing arguments because the prosecution still brought up this 98% oxygen saturation, which actually kind of works against them because if he had 98% oxygen saturation, that doesn't seem like hypoxia. It doesn't seem like he was suffocated. Also, when it comes to carbon monoxide will not show up on those tests. Like when you put the thing on your finger and it reads your oxygen, it won't come up in those tests because it binds on the oxygen molecule. So it'll come up as still being oxygen when it's actually being canceled. The oxygen's being canceled out by the carbon monoxide, which eventually will kill you once it gets to a certain percentage. Basically once it gets to like 30, 25, 30, 40%, 50%, over 50%, the carbon monoxide cancels out these oxygen molecules. But if you put the thing on your finger, it still comes up as oxygen saturation, like regular oxygen saturation. So that's tricky. And I don't know why the defense corrected them when they did cross-examination, but then they didn't correct them after closing arguments. I don't understand why they did that. I mean, the guy basically misled the jury. I mean, in two different ways. One, it's 98% oxygen saturation, but that's not true because of what I just said. And that was said very clearly. Also, he said, he mentioned that as well as a reason why, I forget what his reason was though, but I remember it not making sense because, I mean, if anything, if you're suffocated, the oxygen saturation wouldn't be that high. So it's confusing. A lot of things, those closing arguments were, I can't take phone calls. All right. So the 12 jurors deliberating the case against Derek Chauvin will have 3 counts to consider as they weigh whether he is responsible for the death of George Floyd. Chauvin is charged with second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. He could be convicted on all the charges, some or none. The case comes down to 2 key questions. whether Chauvin caused Floyd's death and whether his actions were reasonable. I think he ultimately caused the death and his actions were not reasonable, but they weren't totally unreasonable. That's just how I think manslaughter makes sense. He'll get 4 years for that. The other two charges carry 12 and a half each. I think he'll end up getting 4 years, doing 3, and getting out. It's kind of short. You know, that will cause a lot of trouble. There'll be riots, which is why I think he's actually going to be found guilty on everything. I think they're going to find him guilty on everything. Although it has crossed my mind, if it's going to be fixed, if there's higher powers making things happen, then it's going to be not guilty, because it seems that they want these riots. They want to incite these riots and have these riots, just like they want the border crisis. They don't want people to know and get actual footage of it, but they do want it to. They do want these people to come in the way they are, despite everything that's going on. They do want to stay in Afghanistan longer. And I did my own retract. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, they're attacking themselves. Yeah. Yeah, you agree peaceful? Yeah, you know, I just think that's how it's going to go. I just think that it will happen. I think he will be found guilty on everything. Okay. Each charge requires a different element of proof as to Chauvin's state of mind. The charges against Chauvin compare. For all 3 charges, prosecutors had to prove that Chauvin caused Floyd's death and that his use of force was unreasonable. Prosecutors didn't have to prove Chauvin's restraint was the sole cause of Floyd's death. That's a big one. But only that his conduct was a substantial causal factor. Well, damn. I mean, I think they have pretty much proven that. It's just, it's tough, man. It's tough. It's a police officer, you know. They're going to make an example of him, for sure, I think. They're going to make an example of him. You know, there's never been a police officer who's, like, truly been prosecuted. Even the ones who get prosecuted, they get found, like, you know, it'll be like they bring up charges. After they're already found not guilty, they bring up different charges. Oh, something might be going down here. Here we go. So someone said 4:30, and it's 4:28. Eastern time. Let's see. This is huge, guys. They're boarding up. Every major city is boarding up the banks, boarding up all the, you know, expensive parts of town. I mean, that's why I don't understand Maxine Waters. She says they need to get more confrontational and raise hell. Well, what is more than looting and rioting? I mean, what's further? I mean, I guess we found out only 2 hours after she said that, there was a drive-by where they shot people in the National Guard. I forget if it was 1 or 2. They weren't killed, but that would have been crazy. But they were injured. They were shot. Not the police, the National Guard, our military, our weekend warriors. No, I'm just poking fun. I respect them. Because you know what? If war breaks out, like it might, with everything going on at the border, which, you know, doesn't constitute war, but we should have some type of war in the cartel. If we were honest, if we were truly like respectable, we would have a war with the cartel. But with what's going on with Taiwan and China, which I haven't really talked about yet, and we talked at length about Ukraine and Russia, if those wars break out, the Marines go in first, and then the National Guard gets sent over for sure. National Guard, they send them over. They do a lot of the policing, and, you know, they do a lot of fighting as well. But the Marines lead the way. Well, really, the Navy leads the way. The Navy will be the first. The Navy will shell them. The Navy will have, you know, depending on what country it is. I mean, we haven't fought like a actual, like, formidable foe. I mean, even Vietnam, where we didn't exactly win the war, we still, you know, controlled the air, the sea, the land. We controlled it all. It was just a matter of optics. It was a winnable war that the public didn't have an appetite for, and I don't blame them. I mean, after what happened with that one unit where they killed all the civilians, I mean, that was it. that constituted them calling them baby killers, which is horrible. But there was that unit that really did kill babies. I mean, they slaughtered a friggin' village. Of course, a bunch of stuff happened before that, but you know, no one talks about that. So yeah, this is Telegram, guys. It's amazing, you know. Oh, if you guys don't know the clown I was talking about, look at him. Here he is. This guy's a clown. He should have never called me out. I mean, dude, keep my name out of your mouth. Jordan Sather has him pegged. I mean, look at him. Look at him. This guy, he's a political operative. He's probably CIA. He's probably CIA. I truly
Staying in the neck.
I truly believe that. He's a clown. Literally.
Go against the current world orthodoxy when they see things that are not right. And they set out to make a change in that world. You know, in some of your lifetimes, you probably know of two distinct people who have done that.
So this guy just popped up lately, you know? I'm not going to keep talking about he should have never mentioned my name. I mean, yeah, I was kind of calling him out, but, you know, I wasn't calling him out like on a video. I just, you know, in chat said to him, I said the truth. I mean, Scott McKay is alright. He thinks he's hot shit, and Jordan Sather already exposed him. I exposed him to his chat. I'm telling you, I got a bad feeling about a lot of these people. Jordan Sather, I like him, but some of these other guys, I'm telling you, I don't trust it. I don't trust Cold Monkey anymore. He's kind of off. David Nino, Michael Jocko, all these guys who just popped up right before January 6th. Gene Decode, he's one of the worst. I mean, all they do is like put advertisements. You know, they're all about making money. They saw an opportunity to make money. You know, they got everyone all ramped up, and then January 6th happened, and they just, you know, I mean, look at this. It's just like, what? All right. I'm talking about that crap. Meanwhile, they're probably reading the verdict. Yes. 1 second.
Daddy's gonna be with me.
Yeah.
Daddy's gonna be with
You having fun, Philly? Poor thing.
I just be taking her for Pat's walk.
Yeah, I know. We were out, and then we came home, and she wants to still have the dog on the leash, the poor thing. But she hasn't seen the mine. You like playing with Olivia? All right. Oh. Okay. All right.
You keep spraying water.
Oh, no.
I can't.
Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to fix something for her. Oh, my God, Olivia. Can you get a different one?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, get a different one. There's something wrong with this one. Okay, so let's go back to that article. Unless, what are you guys saying in chat? Let me see. Waters insurrection. Yeah, already burnt. Yeah, you guys see that? A church was burned down. Verdict. What the hell does that mean? To convict on any of these counts, jurors must find that Chauvin used a level of force that would be considered unreasonable to an objective officer in his position. Hindsight can't be a factor. So, I don't think, I think what he did was reasonable if he only did it for maybe a couple minutes, 2-3 minutes. And they did expect, in his defense, they did expect the ambulance to be there in 3 minutes. That's the average response time. It ended up taking like 6-7 minutes or something like that.
You can go up now. Again?
There's something wrong with these juices, Olivia. Yeah, I got it. It's in.
Oh, do that.
It's good. I have to. All right, now it's a mess.
Do that. It makes it spell.
Yeah. I'm gonna clean it. So, okay. The charges differ when it comes to Chauvin's state of mind. With second-degree murder requiring some level of intent, not an intent to kill, but that Chauvin intended to apply unlawful force to Floyd.
Daddy! Daddy!
What? Oh, you need the leash? Yeah. Oh my God. Not an intent to kill. Where was I? Oh man. Not an intent to kill, but that Chauvin intended to apply unlawful force to Floyd. See, I don't think that's the case. I think that he just had him in that position way too long. Like, basically, enough that I think it should be manslaughter. Yeah, what are you guys saying? Oh, the CIA. Glad you were here, David. Yep, Water's got to go. Yeah, she's got to go, man. This is her MO. Lots of them need to go. Exactly. We'll see what happens, guys. I think this is going to be real interesting with this. I mean, I expect I would be surprised if he's not guilty on everything, right? Maybe they're going to find him guilty of third degree and manslaughter. But actually, you know what? I think the two, actually, I keep going back and forth on it. But I was thinking maybe third degree and manslaughter, not just manslaughter, that they will. Not that he should, but that they will. But really, I think it's either one or the other. Either it's the two murder charges, the second and third degree murders. He's either going to be convicted of both or found not guilty of both. Not necessarily found innocent, but not guilty of those charges. I don't see how he's not charged with manslaughter. He already was willing to plea. He was willing to do a plea deal for manslaughter and get 10 years. Now, he might have not gotten that full 10 years. And then on top of that, he, would most likely get good time. So, there's that as well. So, yeah, I go back and forth on what I think is going to happen. We'll see, though. We are going to see. Prosecutors called several medical experts who testified that Floyd died from a lack of oxygen because of the way he was restrained. A use of force expert said it was unreasonable to hold Floyd in the prone position for 9 minutes, 29 seconds, handcuffed and face down on the pavement. No reasonable officer would have believed that was an appropriate, acceptable, or reasonable use of force, prosecution witness Seth Stoughton testified. Defense attorney Eric Nelson. And by the way, this defense attorney, everyone thinks he sucks. I thought he was pretty good. I think that his closing arguments were weak. I think that once the jury deliberated and they started talking about mistrial, I mean, he did try to file for a mistrial, but I think he should have really, he just mentioned like, oh yeah, it came to my attention the congresswoman said something. I mean, he should have hammered that point harder. I mean, after listening to some, I was listening to a very good lawyer that he's famous. He has like kind of long hair. I was listening to him, and what he was saying was there's something that they could do where you take each juror, like, first of all, it's up to the jury this whole trial. I mean, especially when this other murder happened in Brooklyn Center, which is only 5 miles away. It's basically, yeah. Once that happened and the riot started that first night, they should have sequestered the jury, although it would have been too late by then. So what's going to happen is, if he's found guilty, they have 100% grounds for a mistrial. Even the judge said that himself. And the lawyer did say, he goes, since the beginning, have been saying we should have sequestered the jury this whole time, but, you didn't want to do it. But I think he should have drove the point home further, not just because I don't like her, but because it's a huge point. I mean, after she said that, somebody did a drive-by on the National Guard. I mean, the words have, if the narrative is that Trump incited all this stuff, which he didn't, it's bullshit, they started doing that while he was still giving the speech. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Anyone who was at the speech had to still walk all the way there. By the time they got there, it was already done. They were already in there. So it makes no sense. But he should have drove that point home further, because and he should have asked for this. This is what this lawyer was talking about. He should have asked for the judge. I forget the word, but there's a word for when you take each juror into chambers. You take each of them into the chamber, and you're able to question them. What do you know? Are you worried to find him not guilty? If you felt that he was not guilty, would you be worried for your safety? Would that affect the way that you're going to come to a conclusion? You take each one into the chambers with the judge one by one, with the lawyers from each side and the judge asks them these questions. I believe it's the judge that would ask them, but regardless, they are asked, is this affecting you? Are you worried? Do you know about what Maxine Waters said? Also, guys, you guys remember? Watch the waters. Everyone thought that has to do with the ocean or Jesse Waters. Who knows? I mean, it almost seems like a lot of the stuff from 17 is applying now. It's almost like it applies to now. I mean, the way you can match up a number with the time, and then all of a sudden it's relevant to exactly what's going on now. There's a lot of weird stuff like that. Anyways, that's what this lawyer should have done. I think Eric Nelson, the defense attorney, has done a good job. A lot of people don't think that. But now after that last day, closing arguments day, he did a good job in the closing arguments, but there was a few things he should have objected to. Like I talked about the oxygen saturation, as far as carbon monoxide. Do I think carbon monoxide killed him? I had a factor, no. But you're supposed to, as a defense attorney, your job is to raise doubt, which he did when he brought it up. But then when the prosecutors, when their closing argument, which they went before the defense, they started talking about the 98% saturation. You can use that against them in two ways. One, then how was he suffocated? And two, if his breathing didn't change, and it doesn't make any sense. How he was suffocated then? It had to have been something else that caused him to actually die, other than suffocation. There had to be another factor. But as you see in these charges, they don't have to prove that the knee was the sole cause of the death. That's the key little point there, because it wasn't. It wasn't the sole cause. If any of us were in that position, we wouldn't die. He would go. He had his heart rate checked. The last time the police pulled him over, a year prior, he swallowed a bunch of drugs. They had to take him to the hospital. Before the drugs never even kicked in. They were double bagged, I guess. But his heart rate, which had happened in the past, was like 200 and something over 100 and something. I mean, what? 200 and something? The top number was 200 and something? If I see 155, 160, I'm worried. 200 and something for your heart. I mean, he had problems. He wasn't healthy. He had heart disease. Instead of all this like Black Lives Matter and so going after the police, what they should be doing is going after their own community, fixing their own community. You guys see the video? I was crying, literally crying last night because of a video I saw where a 7-year-old gets shot and the police pull her limp body out of the car. A 7-year-old was at McDonald's in her car with her father, and they shot up the car and killed the 7-year-old. Nobody's talking about that. The things that really matter. Like as far as the virus, why don't they talk about vitamin D and health? You want to help people. That's what you should do. Forget the mask. Forget, even if you get the vaccine, you still have to wear a mask. And, they've been lying about all these numbers. A lot of stuff has been coming out. You guys been paying attention? If you guys want some reference, I would reference, what was the Oxford University? Oh man, what was that university that did the study on the masks, and they said they're 100% useless? If you just Google that, you'll see. And who's going to have faith in the vaccines when they took AstraZeneca off the market and everywhere in Europe? Now they take Johnson & Johnson off the market after giving it out for like a month. I mean, that doesn't sound good. I mean, this is an experimental emergency use only vaccine, and everyone's just getting it like it's nothing. And you know what's crazy? People who get it, I asked them, they think it's FDA approved. Because they muddy the waters. They say FDA approved when really it's FDA approved for emergency use only. It's not actually like approved. You can't sue them. That's another thing. You can't sue if your family dies. You can't sue. Oh, hey Tony, how's Frank's speech been? Oh, and by the way, Tony, I the Foxhole. I remember you were always bringing that up. The Foxhole. That's actually a pretty good app. That's actually pretty good. I heard that. I've been hearing bad things about Frank's speech. To be honest, to be frank, I've been hearing some bad things about that. And Mike Lindell. Why does he have Dershowitz as his lawyer? Really, Dershowitz? Do you guys remember before they even arrested Epstein? For those of you that were still here, I know Kelly Kibo was there. If I don't know who else was still, West Texas was there, I believe. When we did Epstein, before he was ever arrested, we went through his flight logs, and at this point, they had just been released. People hadn't really been able to decipher some of the names, and there was like 4 or 5 names that were not found anywhere, but we figured them out. I mean, this is like 8-hour streams, and we did like 3 of them over 3 days. Some of the most exciting streams we ever done, because there's all these names that with a lot of effort and a lot of people looking at each letter and trying to figure out the messy writing and the grainy picture, we were able to come up with all these names. Well, one of the names that were clear as day was Alan Dershowitz going to Pedo Island. So what's up with that? And that's Mike Lindell's lawyer now? Also, I did check out some of the video from Frank's speech. I wasn't actually on Frank's speech, but someone put some of the video on Telegram. I don't really like listening to Mike Lindell speak anymore. I don't know. I thought I loved listening to him. His documentary, I think it was great. He had great people on there, like the guy from Massachusetts who's 100% legit. He invented the email. I mean, Shiva, that guy's amazing. He got screwed here in Massachusetts. It was fixed against him. And that's why he knew what the fix was in before it even happened, because it happened to him in the midterms. I don't have faith in the process right now. And the fact that Georgia tries to make it so you need an ID, and look at what happens. All the corporations team up. I mean, this is actual fascism. You want to talk about Nazi? This is fascism. The state and the corporations are like all one, and they're against the people. And like I said earlier, I'm actually liberal at heart. What liberal used to mean. I'm for people and the arts, but the arts now are they're all just gross. Even sports. I was a sports fanatic. Now I only like watching UFC. I mean, UFC was the only sport that stayed going during this pandemic. Yep, UFC was the only one. They went to Abu Dhabi, Oh, let me plug this in. They went to Abu Dhabi and had their fights there. So, I respect that sport and I love it. And I watched the boxing match the other day, Jake Paul and Ben Askren. What a joke that was. Someone needs to knock that kid out.
I'm a peasant. I'm gonna pretend I'm a peasant.
Okay. Man, they're taking a while. I didn't expect this to take so long. I agree with Mike Al, but it does let news out. You can't. Yeah, I agree, Tony. I mean, I use Telegram. Telegram is seriously. Telegram is amazing. Like anything that happens, I find out right away. As long as you just need to know the right people to follow. You want a couple of the breaking news sites, but the ones that don't lean, into the establishment. Disclosed TV isn't bad. I just don't. I don't know. I heard that the setup of Frank's speech is like a WordPress. As far as like the design, it's elementary. But it could be good. That could be simple in some ways. He describes it as YouTube meets Twitter. But from what I'm hearing, it's not exactly as technical as it should be, which makes me kind of worry. I've heard if you get the vest notifies your life insurance. Oh, wow. That's crazy. In West Texas, she said something. I gotta check that out. Wow, came right up. Yeah, fact check. The one thing I don't trust is fact check. I do not trust that at all. I'm searching here on Google, like I'm gonna get the actual. It's saying that they haven't changed and getting the job will not impact whether a policy pays out. I want to see but with the but. Where's that? I bet you there's something to that. I bet you there's something to it. A lot of these fact checks, they say no. Like for instance, when Trump said that there is no evidence at all after the news was reporting it for a whole week, he finally had to say something about it. There is no evidence that Russia has hits out on our troops. They're paying money they're putting money on heads, targeting troops individually and putting money on it. He said there's no evidence of that. It's fake news. Well, now we find out, like a year later, we find out that, yeah, it was fake news. There was nothing to support that. Nothing. Same thing with the masks. Same thing with everything. Same thing with all the elderly, what they did to the elderly. And I'll tell you the states, I know them. New York, Cuomo, he's finally getting the heat he deserves, although I don't know why he's still in there. Cuomo, Wolf in Pennsylvania, Murphy in New Jersey, what's her name up there? Gretchen Wilma. She's Whitmer. She's the worst. Michigan probably is the most locked down of any state. California's up there, but Michigan has like these extra laws that make no sense. Oh, did you guys hear about Ontario? In Ontario, they basically declared martial law on their people. And why? Not for any good reason, for health reasons, because of COVID. Here we are, we're finally, the lights at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And, I don't think it was ever that serious in the first place. But it seems like we're getting out of it. Oh, here we go. It seems like we're getting out of it. And Ontario decides that they are going to, they created a new laws that police are able to pull over anybody at any time. You're not allowed to go out unless you're going to work, right? And you got to go straight to work and straight back. I think you can go to the grocery store maybe. So they can pull you over. They can ask where you live and why you're out by law. And if you don't answer them, you're breaking the law and you will get arrested. I already saw a video. It was like a TikTok video of this guy getting pulled over in Ontario today, and the cops screaming at him because the guy's like, "What? I don't have to tell you that," and he's like, "Yes, you do," screaming at him. So that's what's going on in Ontario. They legit, it's a form of martial law going on. You can't go out. If you go out, the police are allowed to stop you. You need to tell them why you're out and where you live. You need to give them your address. And if you don't, you get arrested. And if you lie and you tell them the wrong thing while you're out, you get arrested. This is their plan unfolding. We see all of the banning. We see everything going on. It's just so much. It's literally every corner of society is being affected in some way. And you can see the plan coming to fruition as far as their plan, and we know it's in their documents. It's in the documents, Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. These are real things, What's going to come next? I'll tell you right now, I already know what's coming next. This is 100% fact. The next push, I mean, right now we're in the middle of a few different things, but the next big push is climate change. That's coming. There's going to be a bunch of money, a bunch of new laws, bunch of, they already went back into the, I almost said Green New Deal, the Paris Climate Accord, which, by the way, we're the only ones that have to actually abide by it as far as like China and India and those countries are concerned. We're the only ones who have to abide by it right away, whereas China doesn't have to do a thing for 15 years. They've already basically caught up to us. And then we're going to enable them to be able to use all the fossil fuels, do whatever they want, even though they're the number one polluters by far. And literally, if we just got China to stop polluting the way they do, it would actually have an effect. I think the climate does change, but I don't think it's as man-made as they say. I mean, they're blaming cow fats, and I mean, it's ridiculous, right? We know that there's an agenda behind it. Everyone knows that. That's the reason why people like Bill Gates, who are not doctors, are giving medical advice about vaccines, and they're 100% in it. And then he also wants to shoot something up to block the sun. Sound familiar? Richie from Boston? Richie from Boston's been saying that for years. He was the first person I heard saying it. I mean, years and years ago. Yep, the verdict coming out within the hour. Yeah, it should be any minute now, any second now. So, so that's the one thing. Climate change is the big, that's the big one coming. That's going to be the new, they're positioning themselves to stop pushing on that. Gun control is already in action. I mean, we didn't have shootings for the past few years, right? There was the couple at Walmart that happened one after the other that were questionable, right? And now every day there's a mass shooting. Every week there's a questionable. Well, I don't think a lot of them are really questionable. I can totally understand why the cops have to shoot someone that pulls a gun on them. But I mean, it gives more fuel to the Black Lives Matter. They have something new every week. This stuff wasn't really happening before. Outside of what's going on, this is the only one that I think is really bad. The Floyd. I just think the cop was wrong. I think the cop was wrong. I don't think he should be found guilty of murder, but he was wrong. He shouldn't have done what he did. Especially once he was couldn't. You could tell he couldn't breathe, and his speech was starting to slow down. It's just at that point he should have let up on him. But especially once he stopped moving. I mean, he wasn't moving for like 4 or 5 minutes while he still had his knee on his neck, right? But anyway, so yeah, we see what's going on with the gun control. I mean, and there's a reason behind that. They fear the people, and they really fear a armed, well organized people. But we aren't allowed to. Well, unless you're in Florida or Texas, actual free states, we're not allowed to assemble. We're not allowed to go to church. We're not allowed to meet up and for the longest time. I mean, we're starting to get some of those freedoms back, but a lot of these states don't want to do it. For instance, Oregon, they just actually passed a law to make the masks permanent for the near future. They're going to be permanent. You have to wear the mask. It's a new law now. I mean, they're getting more aggressive in places like Oregon and even Michigan try to pass some new laws. Canada. Now, I do understand that Canada doesn't have as much access to the vaccines, but they just now passed a law, like I was just saying, that they can't go out. And if they do go out, the police can stop them and ask them where they're going and what, and if they don't answer them, they go to jail. This is all a coordinated plan. And the Pope is in on all of it. The Pope is talking about climate change and shootings in America of black men. But all of these shootings, except for what happened with George Floyd, which I think he should be found guilty of manslaughter.
I want to put in the animal prison.
Yeah, you can do that. I know. Hey, this is gonna be done in a minute. Grab Philly. Play with Philly. Hold on one second. Phil. So did anyone find anything on insurance? On the insurance? I see you guys talking about that. Anyone find anything as far as that? We're still live on this. Yep. I'm surprised. It's taken us forever. I mean, I thought like 4:30, it might take a little bit. Tony, so you ready? Open the present. Oh, there she is. You don't want that? Lori, and the MSM will be the driving force. I expect an alien to tell us global warming is killing the earth. Yeah, and that's another thing. As far as disclosure, supposedly, that you guys, if you guys remember, Congress gave the military that would know about all the anything to do with aliens and what they know about aliens. They have to disclose to Congress. They gave them, I think, like 108. It was the equivalent of 6 months, so 180 days. And they gave them that time to do it, and that runs out in 2 months, in June. So I don't know what's going to happen there. I mean, there's just so much, and it's all going to come to a head. But the two things that are next seem to be climate change and the financial system. I think it's truly gonna be a great reset. I believe that. You see China is making all these moves on Bitcoin. I think there's going to be some type of reset. Eventually, we're going to crypto money. As I was talking about earlier, Microsoft and Bill Gates, their patent that we discovered the day it was filed, we did a video on it, first to do it, patent 060606. Not only does it talk about a vaccine that's in the form of a transdermal patch that they put on you. This doesn't have to be a vaccine. It can be, but it can also be medicine. It could be many different things. And what it does is it dissolves into your skin. It leaves a quantum dot that it links with 5G that has cryptocurrency linked to the 5G as well. The cryptocurrency comes in what the quantum dots are doing is it's reading your body activity data and your brainwave data. So it can read, it sounds crazy, but it can basically read your mind. I mean, they're going to have artificial intelligence basically making this all happen. It's going to be able to read your mind. It's going to be able to know if you're working, know what you're doing, know if you're completing the task you're supposed to do. So if every day, you don't have to go to work and check in. It's just, because you have the quantum dot on you, it knows where you are, it knows what you're doing. And as long as you do your work, you get your crypto. It doesn't say anything about dollars.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Here we go. I know I should have done that, Lori, is show the protesting. I should have done that with all this dead air. All right, guys, here we go. This is huge. Oh, man.
All rise for the jury.
Oh, wow. Here we go. Oh, man. Imagine they say not guilty on everything. They're going to burn this country down, let alone the city. Oh, man. Hey, hold on. This is about to happen. It's happening right now. Look. This is happening right now.
Members of the jury, I understand you have a verdict.
Oh, okay. No. Okay, here we go. He's going to see the verdict right now. He just saw the verdict. Let's see if we can catch a read on him. He just saw the
Members of
verdict.
the jury, I will now read the verdicts as they will appear in the permanent records of the 4th Judicial District.
He's gonna read it.
State of Minnesota, County of Hennepin, District Court, 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota Plaintiff versus Derek Michael Chauvin, Defendant. Verdict, Count 1. Court file number 27, CR 20-12646. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty.
Oh!
Agreed to this 20th day of April
I knew it.
2021 at 1:44 p.m. Signed, juror foreperson, juror number 19.
I knew it.
Same caption,
Oh,
verdict,
man.
Count 2. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 2, third-degree murder perpetrating an eminently
guilty on
dangerous
everything.
act, find the defendant guilty.
If they
This
found
verdict
guilty
agreed
on
to this 20th
second
day of
degree, he's
April
guilty of everything.
2021 at 1:45 p.m.
Wow.
Signed by jury foreperson, juror number 19. Same caption.
I mean, we
verdict, count
expected
3.
this, right?
We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Jury
Wow.
foreperson 019. Members of the jury,
I
I'm
wish
now
you
going
didn't
to
have a
ask
mask
you
on.
individually if these are your true and correct verdicts. Please respond yes or no. Juror number 2, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 9, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 19, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 27, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 44, are these your true and correct
I mean, they had no choice, right? They had no choice.
verdicts?
Yes.
Incorrect verdicts.
Yes.
Juror number 79, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 85, are these
He
your
should
true
have been
and correct
found guilty
verdicts?
on manslaughter only, I think.
Juror
But
number 89, are these
This
your
is
true and correct verdicts?
100%
Yes.
expected.
Juror number 91, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 92, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
See, the only thing about that, Tony, is that I think the deep state would want riots. I mean, I think they're going to riot either way. We're about to find out. But I think that they want riots. So the only way he was going to be found not guilty in my mind is if the deep state had some hands on this. I feel like they would maybe get the not guilty. I mean, this sets a precedent. I don't remember. Of course, there's been police officers that have been found guilty. But this is such a high-profile case, it sends a message. I mean, this is going to change the way policing is done in this country. Reform is coming now.
Are these your All right, you seated?
Wow. Oh, what?
With the guilty
oh.
verdicts returned, written argument as to Blakely factors within 1 week. The court will issue findings on the Blakely factors, the factual findings, 1 week after that.
So Blakely factors. Now, a lot of people don't know about this, but I've watched the whole trial. So Blakely factors are, it's like because, see, what he's going to be sentenced to most likely is 29 years, right? He'll probably do like 20 of the 29. Or I don't know if it's Mando, but 29 years, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, and 4, because he doesn't have a prior record. Otherwise, it would be 25, 25, and 10 or something like that. So the Blakely factor is adding to the sentence that it was a aggravated murder, like it's like another degree up, and it adds a bunch of years to the sentence. So that's still to come. I mean, the way it stands now, let's say he does the full 29. I mean, that's a long time. How old is this guy? I got to look, but I'm thinking mid-40s, maybe 50. So yeah, he might not see he might never see a day again. Although, let's be clear, there will be a mistrial. This is 100%, and they can thank Maxine Waters. They can thank the riots and the looting. This is going to be a mistrial. I think he should go to jail, personally. I think he should do 4 years for manslaughter. Do all 4, I'd like to see him do all 4 years. That's what I think is justice. This, to me, isn't just. I don't think it should be second degree and third degree murder in this situation. I just don't think so. I think he's 100% wrong. I just don't think it constitutes that. But this jury, this is exactly what I expected. When I asked you guys, there was only one person that expected not guilty. I mean, everyone expected this because they know what's going to happen. They not only will the city burn and the country burn, but each and every juror there is going to have to fear for their life. You know that they will dox them. If they found them not guilty, you know that their names and addresses are coming out tomorrow, if not today. You know that. Antifa and all them are famous for that. They always get police officers' names, addresses. You know, Kim Potter, she had to move. The last one, that was actually a bad one. When she thought she pulled a taser, but she pulled a gun. That's shady. That was a bad one. But you know, at the same time, you know, what are these idiots doing? You know, you gotta, you know, if you're not doing shit like that, you're not gonna get shot. I mean, these aren't exactly like upstanding citizens. The reason that guy had a warrant was because he put a gun to someone's head, just like George Floyd put a gun to a pregnant woman's belly in the past. I mean, these people are not good people, you know. But this was expected. All right, let's go back. So yeah, this Blakely thing, that basically adds another degree of like they call it aggravated. It's an aggravated murder or something like that, aggravated charge, and that adds a bunch of years to it. So it sounds like they're gonna go over that in about a week.
We'll order a PSI immediately returnable in 4 weeks. And we will also have a briefing on...
But regardless, I mean, it almost doesn't even matter, the Blakely factor, because it's going to be a mistrial. This is 100% going to be a mistrial. So this isn't over.
Do you get the PSI 6 weeks from now, and then 8 weeks from now we will have sentencing. We'll get you the exact dates in a scheduling order. Is there a motion on behalf of the state?
All guilty.
To have the court revoke the defendant's bail and remand him into custody pending sentencing.
Bail is revoked, bond is discharged, and the defendant is remanded to the custody of the Hennepin County Sheriff.
Oh, man.
Anything further?
So this whole time, he's been able to go home. Of course, I mean, I think you guys know that, you know. He hasn't actually had to experience the jail. Him, as well as the other officers, had wicked high bail that got paid. But now he got to go in. He's going in. He'll be in county for now because they still have to figure out the Blake fight, and he's gonna, you know, the whole time that they're doing this mistrial, he's gonna be. Now I wonder if it's a mistrial, is the bail still revoked? That's a good question. I'll look that up after.
All right. Thank you.
Wow. All right, guys. So this guy, I've been watching this guy as far as the riots go. Unicorn Riot. He actually lives in Minneapolis. Last year, he covered all of this. Oh, come on. When I'm live, it's kind of tough to search. So, wow. Guilty. Now, do you guys think they're still going to riot? I do. Oh, yeah. They're definitely still going to riot.
The whole time. Like, even when we met first night, we've been here for her. Even as a pastor. Come sit down, honey. Like, I need you to smell the roses on this. You know,
if they were smart, they wouldn't riot for optic reasons. If they were smart, they're not going to riot. They're going to take the justice, and although there's going to be a mistrial, that's going to cause all type of stuff. But if they were smart, they're not going to riot. They will, but if they were smart, they wouldn't.
The base of how I do business.
I agree, Lloyd.
And talk to y'all. I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her. But the fact that they asked her, you know what? Never mind. I'm just happy for her. I'm happy for the community, and I'm happy for the world to actually see something.
I mean, who wants to be a cop right now?
Enjoy the roses until we get back to the next mission. And that's
a lot of people coming out of the military that would be police officers are going to be firemen or something else instead. I think the police are actually going to be worse than ever. Their hands will be tied. Good men in the military will not want to go through that.
So if she out here, I'm definitely out here. And because you out
They're
here,
still angry.
My friend, bro. Thank you for having that moment because I want you to smell the roses. This ain't about me. It's about the gas that you and your staff took to get the truth out every single day. So don't think that doesn't go unnoticed. We know about what's going on. But I love y'all, Miss Georgia. Y'all made the truth. But we got more work to do. Smell the roses, but we got more work to do. We are literally sitting, I need you to look at that. Like, how far away are we sitting from where that man lost his life?
Oh, so they're right there at the
7 feet, 10 feet, right?
what is it?
So now
The
this
cup
young black
foods,
woman
the
can have
noodle,
opportunity to learn how
whatever
she
it
can know.
is.
This young woman, I'm not gonna say black woman, this young woman, this young American woman can learn how to be an American in such a way so that way she can embellish the pride in this country that she can have for not only for them but for her kids and her kids' kids. It's the little things in this country that we gotta remember, man. It's easy to preach it, but it's hard to practice.
Oh, are they cutting it?
Again, not me. Every day. Every single day, 365 since we started. I can't thank enough of the community people for even allowing me in here, bro. I don't live here. But if I gotta come here,
Someone said I smell bacon.
we gonna bring some
It's funny.
furniture. But to watch
Yeah,
people
they're
grow,
roasting the pigs now, huh?
that's the definition of America last time.
Now, guys, don't get it twisted. Even though like I don't agree with what just happened,
How hard is
I
that?
think that this cop
It's not.
fucked up.
But she,
He fucked up.
You lost the job. I
So-
lost the job. You quit your job. I mean,
I just think that the whole Black Lives Matter movement is as phony as it comes. You know, the leader just bought that $1.4 million house, her like third or fourth house. Get the fuck out of in a white neighborhood. You know, why not move to Atlanta? You know, they have the Black Beverly Hills there. I mean, that's, you know, you don't want to live in the hood. I get it, but you know, move there, black community, right? I'm not saying don't move to the white community, but if you're Black Lives Matter leader, I mean, you got to walk the walk. You know.
I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. So what I'm standing for,
What is she talking about? I'm not crazy.
We not crazy. So as long as it's not even, it's just, I'm not crazy.
What is she talking
I've
about?
been spending this past year thinking I am mentally unstable, that I'm literally crazy.
Anyone who says I'm not crazy this many times is crazy.
And the verdict just reassures me that I'm not crazy. That what it is that I'm dreaming for, I'm not crazy.
What is she talking?
What it is that I want and striving for and trying to do, I'm not crazy.
What is she talking about?
Asking for the change that I'm asking for, I'm not crazy. Calling everything out for what it is, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. That's all I keep thinking to myself right now, that I'm not crazy.
Oh, nothing. I'm gonna end this in a
In the
minute,
winter.
and then we'll play.
I'm skinny. I don't do the cold. I do not do the cold. I don't do the cold. But some things we just had to do, and
What should I don't do the coke?
it doesn't bring George Floyd back. And it doesn't. What does this change?
At the same time, you know, turning some of these killings into assassinations. I mean, stop it. These were not good men. Meanwhile, a 7-year-old girl gets killed at McDonald's. Let me show you guys that. 7-year-old girl. I literally cried. I was crying last night about this. I mean, where did I see it? Oh yeah, here. I should have made this the thumbnail. Look at that. Yeah, I'll show you guys this. A 7-year-old girl in Chicago. 7 years old. You see that? The dog with the man. Oh, did you guys hear about this? These like tranny, what are they called when they dress up and they're whatever they're called. They at midnight they have them they have a bunch of children in strip clubs like doing I don't know some sick.
Why in the hell these people got these fucking little bitty ass kids and at this fucking drag show, y'all?
Oh yeah. At a drag show, they have all these little kids.
These people have children in a fucking drag show in LA on the beach. Look at this shit.
Look at this.
fucking money. Look at this fucking
telling her, and then
bullshit.
people are throwing,
Look at this bullshit.
get your money. And people are throwing money at them. This is at a drag show at a strip club, okay, in LA. This is what our society is up to.
Now.
Little girls.
Look, they giving them fucking money, yo. Little girls now.
Yeah, that's sick. That is so disgusting. I can't, having a daughter, it's things like that and what I'm about to show you that happened at the McDonald's that just, it makes me sick, man. This is just so bad. So bad. Where is this with the little girl? Did I miss it? Oh, here we go.
Unlock, press the unlock button.
Press the unlock button. Press the unlock button. Press the unlock button.
They acting dumb as hell. Unlock. Oh shit, they killed the baby. Oh shit. Fucking baby, shorty.
Why isn't Black Lives Matter talking about this?
Fucked up.
99.9% of the killings, I mean, it's like tens and tens of thousands of black men and women and children are killed by other black men and women and children in the hood. And that none of that gets dealt with. That's the shit that actually matters. Their health. Black people have like substantially lower vitamin D in their system. And they wonder why black people were more susceptible to COVID. Because COVID was one thing that they could 100% link to it was vitamin D3. If you have low vitamin D, which by the way you get from the sun, so being locked down in your house isn't exactly the best idea. Maybe being in Florida with no mask out in the sun, because they still haven't proved that it can be transmitted outside. That's what you want to do. You need to get the sun for the vitamin D. And if you don't have enough vitamin D and you have, let's say, diabetes and heart disease, then you might be in trouble.
Say you come to the picnic too.
Oh, really? Okay.
And when I eat, you Faye gonna be in the park.
We'll put her in the park. Okay, yeah, we'll go back
And
out.
you gonna walk her, and you gonna.
All right, let me end this stream.
And you gonna get her in young man in the dark park, and I gonna be
Sounds
They
good.
just killed the baby, shorty.
This is the stuff that matters. Not some thugs getting shot by the police. That's basically justified every time. The only ones, the George Floyd situation, I think is messed up. I don't think it's murder. I mean, it's a tough situation, but he messed up and should be in jail. Maybe not for the rest of his life, but he should be in jail. I think 4 years is like maybe too short, but I'd like to see him do 10 years. That's what I would like to see. That's true justice to me. But this is the stuff that really matters. I mean, your chances of getting shot by a cop, if you're not walking around with guns, and on top, even if you have a gun, and it's not registered and all that, and you're not supposed to have a gun, you're a felon. It's when you're pulling the gun out on the cops, you're pulling the gun out, robbing people, you're running with a gun and holding it up, or you're reaching for guns. That's how you get shot. And it's happening. It seems like a lot, but it's just anytime it happens, it's headline news. Whereas a 7-year-old girl gets killed getting a fucking Happy Meal, and that's not mentioned. That no one cares. Nobody cares. It's Chirac, Chicago, Chirac. It's disgusting. It really makes me upset. And then black people die more from COVID because of vitamin D. Have you ever heard Fauci talk about vitamin D and getting sun? No, he talks about the opposite. He just talks about wearing fucking multiple masks and staying inside for a year and a half now. I mean, this doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. The things that really matter, they don't talk about. That's my position, I think everything's so warped. By the way, there's a black guy who does a great job talking about this. See, as a white guy, it's tough for me to, it sounds bad with me talking about it. Regardless if my kid is part black and Amanda's half black, that doesn't matter, a black man listening to him, and he's a former officer and a former NFL player, Officer Tatum. If you guys want to check out his channel, I don't know if you guys know about him, Officer Tatum. Awesome channel, and he's the truth. He tells the truth. If the police are wrong, he says it. If they're not wrong, he says it. You know, like for instance, the 20-year-old that was killed. That one was the 13-year-old. That one broke my heart. Poor, little kid. I think that the guy he was with was the one who had the shootout. Then he handed the gun to the 13-year-old because that's what happens in the hood. Dudes are like, if the cops roll up, they give the drugs to the kids to hold, the kids are hanging with them and they give the drugs to the 13, 12-year-olds. I mean, that's what happens in the hood, guys. He's out there 2 a.m. There's a shootout. They don't know who was the shootout, but he ended up with the gun. He was running from the cops, and then he tries to pull the gun and throw it behind the fence in the same motion that he's putting up his hands while his back is to the cop. So in the cop's eye, he sees him pull out the gun. He sees him turn and lift his hands up like he's going to shoot him. But in reality, he had tossed it while his hand was on the way up. And you know what's funny? The MSM did, the mainstream media, they first of all, they photoshopped the gun so you couldn't see it in the video. Then they cut like a half a second out where you could see the gun as well. I mean, there is an agenda. That's all I know. There is an agenda because it doesn't make sense. No one is telling truth. No one cares about what really matters. Everything is sensationalized. Anytime there's a shooter, everyone holds their breath. Is it a white Trump supporter? Is it a mud? It's almost like back in the day when it used to be every shooting, every Muslim would hold their breath like, oh no, if I see Al-Sabad, Muhammad or whatever, what the fuck? Everyone's holding their breath back then about that. Now you hold your breath like, is it a white guy that supports Trump? Oh, fuck. And usually it hasn't been, actually. I mean, they've been looking for it, but it hasn't been. Like, they try to push this whole Asian hate crime. 95% of the crimes on Asians happen from black people. I don't know why. It's actually a staggering number. It's glaring. There's something to that. I mean, I know that a lot of Asians live in black communities. Yeah, a lot of Asians do live in black communities. Maybe that's just simple as that. But I don't know. So, yeah, this poor 7-year-old. All right, let's check out. Are they rioting yet?
So he just put all the money into the George Floyd's vigil space.
So that way when we come up the blood with this money, we can build.
Look at that, that's all cash on the ground. That's all cash on the ground. Holy shit. So they're throwing all kinds of cash on the ground. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go soon. We're gonna go outside again. Go to the park. Okay. Look at this. Shit. Look at that. Look at all the money. I don't understand. What are they gonna do with the money? Someone's gonna rob them. There's gonna be like a group of guys that pull up with guns and take that money.
I promise you. But ain't no way. I'm gonna let the devil's playground interfere with this godly land again. Not like this. Not like this. I need some more people to bring this money over here, please. I promise you, I can't touch it. I can't.
His life is worth more than that.
I can't touch it. Like my body is like projecting any energy from this money when it came out. Like for real, it was like the energy is all bad. The energy be good once this money gets where it belongs, baby, but I can't touch it. It's like
Look at these people picking up the money. People are starting to grab the money. What is going on? Why is all this money on the ground? Look.
A lot of people in the community who know what this money's supposed to do, but this money got to go to the right place, man.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's all going to go to the right place. Look at these dudes. This dude's rolling up. It's only a matter of time. We might see a robbery here.
Why did I just have money?
They put all kinds of money on the ground.
Why?
I don't know.
So again, hello everybody. Welcome. This is Nico from Unicorn Riot. We're here reporting live from George Floyd Square, where the crowd just heard the guilty verdict.
I want to see the crowd hear the guilty verdict. That's what I want to see. Let's see.
Record what they doing when we say the 8th Street get through talking. This is our street. Whose street? We in there.
Oh, I want to see his face again when they.
Guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021, 1:45 p.m. Signed by jury foreperson, juror number 19. In caption, verdict count 3. We the jury in the above matter as to count 3. Second degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an
Oh, they already said the other one.
Find the defendant guilty.
I just want to see when his first one's
Defendant
read.
guilty. This verdict agreed to.
When they first read it. I want to see. He didn't. I don't think he really reacted. I guess he was
State of
expecting.
Minnesota plaintiff versus Derek Michael.
Shitty stream.
.44 p.m. Signed juror foreperson, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 2. We the jury in the above entitled matter as to count 2. All right, please be seated. District. State of Minnesota, County of Hennepin, District Court, 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota plaintiff versus Derek Michael.
Bad stream.
R20-12646. We the jury in the.
Let's see his face.
.44 p.m. Signed juror foreperson, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 2. We the jury in the above entitled matter as to count 2.
Yeah, so he had no reaction. Just his eyes
State of
moved.
Minnesota.
Now, shoot, less than a year now. Let me not make a mistake. But it's about so much more. And it's finally there. We're finally here. Guilty on all counts. We're finally here.
What do you want his sentencing to be?
Yeah, Officer Tatum's really good.
What did you say?
What do you want Sullivan's sentencing to be?
It ain't up to me. Court should have been held on the streets. The only thing on the streets is the verdict. Court.
All right, so
Think of it.
Yeah, they got people.
How about you, Naomi?
How I felt about that was I feel like she did it on purpose. I feel like she was scared of a young black man.
That's it right there.
And she knew it was a gun. You're trained to know which side the gun and the taser is on. And he deserves right. He deserves his rights.
Yeah, she just hit on a point. I feel like they're so scared of our black skin. Like that was his weapon right there. She was so nervous.
see, I think they get out of hand, obviously, but I do feel bad. I mean, they are truly affected and upset and brainwashed to a point. They're brainwashed to a point, and I do feel bad because I think they genuinely are upset, and that does make me feel bad that they feel like that. But they are misled. They are 100% misled. But anyways, I think he should have been found guilty of manslaughter. He would have got 4 years. I would have liked to see him do like 10 years. That's what I think is justice. But the jurors had no choice. Guilty on all counts. And if they add the Blakely verdict to the sentence, which adds a degree of aggravated murder, it pumps the sentence up tremendously. However, none of that matters because they will declare a mistrial. At that point, I'm curious as to what happens to the revoked bail because he is going to county tonight. So that will be interesting. He's in for it. He's obviously going to be PC'd, but you can still get got. So it's going to be interesting, especially someone that high profile. I mean, he'll be protected pretty well, but after about a year, there'll be some attacks. They'll get to him. So we'll see. They will declare a mistrial for sure. And hey, Black Lives Matter. You can thank your leader, Maxine Waters. With that, Red Pill Dispensary. On my next video, I'll go over the new channel and all that, but I just got to go and be with my daughter. So I hope you guys all have a great night. Stay frosty. Get your supplies. Pump up on the water, because I need to get a bunch more water, because what's going on in Ukraine last night, Strategic Command just came out and warned the public about potential nuclear disaster. So we are at DEFCON 3 for a reason, folks. Red Pill Dispensary. Salute.